To the ground as people run in terror. We're going to show you the damage from a big quake in Mexico City.
And the LAPD now says the officers killed in a crash were targeted. We have new information on the evidence and the suspect next.
Live from the broadcast center in Los Angeles, this is KCAL 9 News at 4. Live, local, late breaking.
Hello and thank you for joining us. I'm Sylvia Lopez.
And I'm Lena Nguyen. Major new developments in the Sterling scandal today. Another conversation with Donald Sterling is leaked, and the defiant Sterling family is vowing to keep the Clippers. KCAL 9's Randy Page is live in Beverly Hills, where the attorney for Sterling's wife says she will fight for ownership. Randy?
That's right. Here's a question for you. If the NBA forces Donald Sterling to sell the Los Angeles Clippers, should his wife lose her interest in the team as well? Well, this is what her attorney has to say.
She's the innocent spouse. We abhor guilt by association in America, and whatever her husband did, which she finds repugnant, as I said, she is her own person.
Shelley Sterling's attorney, Pierce O'Donnell, says his client will fight to keep her 50% interest in the Clippers, even if the NBA forces her husband to sell his half. O'Donnell says she wants to keep her 50% and bring in other people to run the team.
If somebody tries to tell her she has to sell the team or try to seize the team, look out for Shelley Sterling.
I don't think it works that way.
But attorney Mark Kaplan, who served as a family law consultant for Major League Baseball, says the Sterling family's 100% ownership of the team can't be divided into two parts, one for her and one for her husband.
The spouses in community property states can't say, you can force my husband to sell, but I didn't sign the documentation with the NBA, so therefore I'm going to keep mine. You can't do it that way. She has an undivided one-half interest where Donald's interest is. She stands or falls with Donald's interest.
So what does Donald Sterling think about all of this? In a recording obtained by Radar Online, the controversial Clippers owner had this to say about his ownership of the team and allegations of racism.
You can't force someone to sell property in America. Well, I'm a lawyer. That's my opinion. You think I have anything in the world but love for everybody? You don't think that. You know I'm not a racist.
So how does the NBA weigh in on all these legal theories? Well, so far we've placed several calls to the league. We're still waiting for them to be returned. Live in Beverly Hills, Randy Page, KCAL 9 News.
All right, Randy, thanks. Clippers coach Doc Rivers spoke today about the possibility of Shelley Sterling stepping in as owner, and he was not optimistic.
I think it'd be a very hard situation, if you want me. I'll say that much. I think it'd be very difficult. I guarantee you every person wouldn't be on board with that. Whether I would or not, I'm not going to say. I think it'd be a difficult situation because we wouldn't know who was really in charge.
The Clippers are coming off a tough loss last night against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Their playoff series is now tied at 1 each. Game 3 is tomorrow night at Staples.
Meanwhile, Santa Monica police have now confirmed the woman at the center of the Sterling scandal was arrested in 2004. At that time, V. Stiviano was known as Monica Gallegos, but she also went by Maria Valdez and Maria Perez. Officers say she was caught stealing about $200 in clothes and bags from an Old Navy store. There have been other reports of additional arrests for Stiviano, but authorities will not confirm details.
We're getting a stunning look at the damage from a strong earthquake in Mexico. The magnitude 6.4 quake hit this morning about 200 miles southwest of Mexico City. KCAL 9's Kent Choknik is in our satellite center with the very latest. Kent.
Well, Sylvia, 6.4. Imagine that. That's almost as large as the Northridge earthquake that struck here in 1994. The USGS says today's quake was actually an aftershock to that larger 7.2 quake that struck a big stretch of the Pacific region there off Mexico back on April 18th. Now, we're going to show you some of the brand new video just into our KCAL 9 Satellite Center. Today's quake was felt over a large area, including Mexico City. Are you watching this? Thousands of people poured out of office buildings. They followed pre-planned evacuation routes in some cases to avoid falling glass and other things falling. And look at this. The Guerrero seismic cap is a section of the country where two big tectonic plates are forced against each other, causing huge amounts of energy to be stored up. Scientists say the cap has the potential to produce a quake as strong as 8.4. Of course, that would be with potentially devastating effects. One more bit of video for you right here. A 90-foot section of road collapse near the epicenter of the quake, closing the federal highway between the resort cities of Acapulco and Zihuatanejo. The mayor of a nearby town says there was a wave of panic and describes the shaking as ferocious. Fortunately, even though some roofs caved in, he says no one was hurt. And in fact, if there's any good news in all of this, it turns out that there have been no reports of any injuries so far at all from today's big earthquake, an aftershock in Mexico. We'll keep monitoring the situation, bring you the latest video from right here live in our satellite center. Till then, reporting live, I'm Ken Chocnick, KCAL 9 News. Sylvia Lena, back to you.
All right, Kent, thank you. Well, it was a cold start to the day, but are we in line for a warm-up? Meteorologist Amber Lee is in for Josh today, and she's here with your first forecast. Amber?
Lena, turned out to be a very nice day across the Southland. Live look right now with Sky 9 flying over downtown LA. Just picture perfect. We do have some haze in the background, but overall we saw lots of sunshine today and the breezes picked up in the afternoon. Here's a look at the wind speeds right now. Lots of winds, especially coming in from the sea to the land, so that sea breeze really kicking in, and it's making it very breezy across the Southland. So temperatures today down just a touch from where we should be this time of year. We started off with some gray skies, as you mentioned, but things have cleared out, so lots of blue skies now with some high clouds up above. Temperatures still roughly in the low 70s for many of our inland locations, Van Nuys, Pasadena, and also Anaheim. Upper 60s for downtown LA, mid to upper 60s along the coastline. So overall today, a little bit cooler than normal. But what about the big Mother's Day weekend? I'll have the full forecast for you. And yes, we could see a warm up. Back to you.
All right, Amber. New details about the decision to file murder charges in the death of LAPD officer Roberto Sanchez. As KCAL 9's Louisa Hodge reports, prosecutors believe it was a deliberate act.
LAPD Chief Charlie Beck provided new insight into why the death of Officer Roberto Sanchez is being called a murder.
He intentionally committed homicide, and that is why these charges have been filed.
20-year-old Minor Varela pleaded not guilty yesterday to several charges, including murder. At a news conference this morning, Chief Charlie Beck and District Attorney Jackie Lacey explained why such serious charges were filed.
He did this in order to aid a friend who was driving a Camaro that the police vehicle was following.
Police now believe Varela knew the driver of the Camaro that Officer Sanchez and his partner were following in Harbor City Saturday. They say they have evidence to prove that Varela struck the officer's patrol car to stop the pursuit.
It was also solved rather quickly by the use of forensic evidence as well as video tape obtained from cameras nearby, including one that was on board in the vehicle that the officers died in.
Chief Beck says the defendant's brother, 19-year-old Brian Varela, was a passenger in the Tahoe, and he also fled the scene.
Like his brother, he failed to render aid to the injured and dying officer.
Brian Varela was taken into custody for violating a probation and will be held pending further investigation. Minor Varela is being held with no bail. Meantime, the Los Angeles Police Department is left to mourn yet another officer killed in the line of duty.
The entire Los Angeles Police Department grieves for the loss of Roberto Sanchez.
Along with one count of murder, Minor Varela was also charged with vehicular manslaughter, hit and run, and assault of 2 officers. In downtown Los Angeles, Louisa Hodge, KCAL 9 News.
Today's charges come on a somber day for the LAPD as it unveils a new memorial to fallen officers. We'll have that story ahead at 4:30. Military advisors from around the world are headed to Nigeria to help find more than 200 schoolgirls abducted by a terrorist group. Nigerian police are offering $300,000 in reward to help find the teenagers. A Nigerian terror group abducted them last month and is threatening to sell the girls into slavery. Britain is sending a team of experts and has drones and special forces on standby if Nigeria requests them. President Obama also pledged support.
Our interagency team is hitting the ground in Nigeria now, and they are going to be working in concert with President Goodluck Jonathan's government to do everything that we possibly can to return these girls to their families and their communities.
Top Muslim leaders or top Muslim religious scholars are condemning the kidnappings. They say the group is twisting Islamic teachings to try to justify its actions.
Well, President Obama just landed in Northern California. He left the San Diego area after attending a Democratic fundraiser at the home of Qualcomm's co-founder. Tonight, there are more fundraisers, and tomorrow he'll make an appearance at a Mountain View Walmart to talk about energy efficiency. The president attended several events here in Los Angeles, and KCAL9's Cara Finstrom reports he spent the morning at a DNC roundtable.
The president wrapped up his stay in L.A. this morning with a private roundtable meeting inside the Beverly Hilton. It was an intimate event designed to raise funds for the Democratic National Committee. The Costa chatted up with the commander-in-chief about $32,000. But we found 2 hotel guests who were also allowed special access by the Secret Service. They got to work out with the president for free.
I was in the gym and he came in, the Secret Service came in with him, and he went about his workout, was very friendly to everyone.
He was on the treadmill and for about 15 minutes, and then he did weights, and the guy knows how to work out. He's fit and he's got a great routine.
I was impressed. He was doing burpee push-up combos. Mad props to the Prez.
In addition to the workouts, the president has been squeezing in numerous fundraisers. A total of 5 are planned during his California visit, which should raise hundreds of thousands of dollars for the upcoming midterm elections. Yesterday, he attended a fundraiser at the Bel Air mansion of Disney chairman Alan Horn and his wife Cindy. Barbara Streisand, James Brolin, and Jeffrey Katzenberg were among the supporters in the crowd. And while here, the president also received a humanitarian award from the USC Shoah Foundation for his global human rights work. But he also faced some critics. As his motorcade wound through town, protesters voiced their concern about different administration policies. We just heard from one other individual who had some time with the president this morning. Check out this tweet from Magic Johnson. Just had an outstanding breakfast with President at Barack Obama and senior advisor to Prez at VJ44. That's a reference to Valerie Jarrett. Now, there were some concerns about possible traffic tie-ups on the west side this morning. We can tell you that all around the Beverly Hilton this morning, traffic never really got that bad. And within moments of the president's departure, all the lanes here were reopened. Reporting from Beverly Hills, Cara Finstrom, KCAL9 News.
All right, Cara. Governor Jerry Brown finally has his deal to set aside money for a rainy day fund to help California weather future recessions. The deal reached today would set aside 1.5% of the state's general fund revenues each year. Half that money would go to a reserve fund. The new deal also makes it harder to take money out of the fund. The other half would be used to pay off debt and cover long-term costs like pensions. The deal requires a new state amendment, so the governor needs Republican help to reach the 2/3 support needed to pass, and then the measure could go on the November ballot.
Still ahead, Ringling Brothers puts on its first show since the tragic accident that may have left some performers paralyzed.
Plus, the tennis star's mansion goes up in flames. A family of 4 is dead, and investigators say the whole thing was arson.
A wedding photo shoot turns bizarre as 2 groomsmen end up wet and nearly naked for their photos. We'll show you why they had to do it.
And LA's economy is getting a huge boost with 2 playoff series in town this weekend. The details in a live report next. LA may be the nation's unofficial sports capital for the next few days. There's playoff basketball and hockey on tap, and the Dodgers are back in town too. You can bet some local businesses are loving it. KCAL 9's Jeff Nguyen is live outside Staples Center, where things will get underway tonight. Jeff.
Well, Sylvia and Lena, you might call it an economic hat trick for downtown Los Angeles. That's because 3 local teams are playing over the next 4 days. So in the next few hours, this area will be filled with people who won't be shy about opening up their wallets. Before the Kings and Ducks' third playoff game, fans like Claudia Ojeda were able to score a few autographs.
We're very excited.
No matter who wins tonight, downtown businesses are set to be the big victors thanks to fans like Nicola Connolly and Bob Kroll.
We came down from Vegas just this afternoon with a hotel here and dinner and drinks and then the game. It's got to be a good $1,500.
So imagine what it'll be like with the Kings and Ducks playing at Staples tonight and Saturday, while the Clippers are in a playoff battle against Oklahoma City tomorrow and Sunday, which is Mother's Day. Add to that, the Dodgers are back home beginning a 4-game set with the Giants. How vital is business when it comes to these playoff games?
Playoff games are huge for us. They can make or break our year.
At the Palm Steakhouse, the 2 playoff teams are helping to offset the Lakers' losing season, which led to fewer customers. David Simon of the Los Angeles Sports Council says the 3 Staples team each play about 40 games at home.
If they go all the way in the playoffs, you're looking at potentially another 12 to 15 games on top of the 41. So it's really like adding possibly 1/3 to their entire season.
And that will flow directly into the bars at places like El Cholo Mexican Restaurant. In terms of the drinking habits between Kings fans and Clippers fans, what do they like to drink?
Clippers fans, the usual margaritas, beer, shots. And for the Kings, it's a little bit more different. They go more for the wine, they go more for the regular liquors or the premium liquors.
Now, the LA Sports Council says the next 4 days will certainly be a good boost for the local economy, but it won't be as big as, say, the Rose Bowl. That's because you have out-of-towners coming in, staying for about a week, staying at hotels and eating out every single meal. We should tell you one more thing. We took an informal poll among bartenders and restaurant servers, and they tell us that the best tippers tend to be Kings fans. So there you have it. For now, we are live outside Staples Center. Jeff Nguyen, KCAL 9 News.